welcome to Week 6 of the Real Health Coaches Fantasy Football League, otherwise now known as Top 3 Floor. I'm joined by Shani,
What's up, y'all?
Evander, or ECAS,
I do's this.
and we got our special guest this week, joined by Alex.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Alright, so let's jump right into it, and we're about, 6 weeks? We're almost halfway. What is the league looking like? Shani, how do you see the league going? And I guess, and start off with who do you think the 6 teams are now that's played out a little bit that are going to make the playoffs?
I mean, it's pretty much like as we predicted. As I can see, we got Vander. He lost 2 tough losses, but I think out of all the contending teams, he had the hardest schedule. I think down the stretch, he'd be just all right. And Marin and Rhodes, just like we predicted, keep flip-flopping. Could be the 6th, 7th seed, but we'll see how it all shakes out going forward.
All right, Alex, you certainly made a trade today, but how did you see the top 6 playing out?
Well, I think obviously the 2 5-0 teams are looking great. Bankhead's 1-1. I think Evander's a pretty clear playoff team at this point. It goes straight to. So that leaves us with Marin, C. Rhodes, Wood fighting for 2 spots. If I had to guess right now, I think I'd go with Marin and D. Rhodes, but a trade for Wood could pretty quickly change that, I think. But yeah, that'd be my top 6 as of now. So I see it going.
And the highest point total in our league, Evander, what's your take on all this?
Well, I think the league's pretty wide open right now. Even De Beers is 2-3 with a chance. His team's still putting up points. He's giving people tough weeks every single week. But I think I still have you in there, Wood, and either Marin or Rhodes not making it, and I don't know who at this point. I'd probably say Marin, because Rojo is going to fall off at some point, but yeah, that's what I'd say. Would you be that last team and Marin not making it?
I've already resigned myself. I think I finished as that 7th seed. I think I just miss. Because I really don't have what it takes to make a trade. Like, I've already sold my 1st and 2nd for next year to pull in a talent that I would need. And I was supposed to be rebuilding this year, and I've overperformed a little bit. I barely lost to you. I barely lost to Bankhead. It would have been cool to win, and then it would be sitting pretty. And who knows? Maybe I even upset Tico this week. I have the numerical advantage because his players are on buys. I know they're on buys. That's the only reason I have a chance. But I see myself playing more of a spoiler role at this point. So I think top 6 is going to do it. But I will say I'm shocked that you're at 4th. Evander, I definitely thought you were going to be in the top 3. I mean, obviously it's 1 spot, but I just thought you would be there. And I thought Bankhead had an easy road to the championship, and I don't think it's so easy anymore.
I don't think anything's easy.
I don't think it's easy, but I'll use that as my transition to what I kind of not everybody.
Hold up though, for a second, because I told you if you go 3-3, you're making playoffs. If you win this week, you're making playoffs.
Yeah, got to make the prediction come true, right?
Oh. Yeah, gotta speak that into existence.
But let's go ahead and I was hoping to have this up on a bigger thing, but I'll scroll up and find it. There we go. With the trade that went down today between Alex and Ozzy, and we even have Alex with us to walk us through this trade. So, Alex, just give us the breakdown. What were you thinking?
Yeah, so kind of got to the point that between the injuries and COVID,
Jared Curse.
Yeah, exactly. and looking ahead to the rest of my schedule, I didn't feel great about my chances of making it. Not to say that I couldn't have if I just held McCaffrey and played out and see what happens, but I said I think if I move McCaffrey now, I might be setting myself up better for success next year. Because even if I did hold him, I think the depth was still going to be an issue if I had more than one injury next year. And I had to correct that at some point. So I looked at his team. He approached me about it. I said I'd have to have TD. Mark Andrews didn't come into the conversation until later. Oz wasn't really giving me what I felt was enough depth coming back. 'Cause my whole mindset was I need to be probably +2 or +3 on overall assets in this deal for it to really be worthwhile for me. So Andrews came in later. I said if I can upgrade a tight end from Hunter Henry, that I think that'd also be helpful. So I looked at the first round pick from Oliver's team, and that's a pretty big part of this for me. I look at that as probably the number 2 pick. Could be number 1, could be number 3 if something funny happens. But I think I'm hopeful to get either Travis Etienne or Jamar Chase at this point. Etienne probably makes more sense for my team, but I'm not going to lock myself into that. If he goes to a team where I don't like the landing spot or the situation, I'm not married to that. So I could also trade the pick along with something else for running back later on. I just think TD was a must talent situation. Obviously, it could change with Dak. Who knows? But as of now, I feel really good about getting him. I feel really good about getting Etienne Chase or flipping that for something good. I think the 22 first I got is also going to be a top 3 pick. I don't see Oliver's team being overly competitive anytime soon. I think he's still a few years away. And
The 22 first is actually it's Ozzy's actually.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay.
It's not Walter's.
My apologies. Yeah, but I'd still be hopeful that that's a pretty quality player or turns into a quality asset via trade. And then the second round pick, I was pretty set that needed to be included, and he was against it. That's my pick. I think. Who knows where it ends up? I think it'll probably be a top 4 pick in the second round now that I've moved McCaffrey. Probably a little. I don't think that's going to end up being Trevor Lawrence. I think he'll probably be gone by then, but I could hope, or I could use it for a little bit and grab him. Quarterback's probably something I want to address here at some point with the way Wentz has been playing. Or it could be, it could be a running back. It could be
anyone.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So it sounds like basically the Jared curse kind of wiped out that enthusiasm. Because I remember beginning of the year, you were like, all right, you were debating trading Thomas, Kamara, all them. Like it was always available. It didn't mean you were trying to sell them. The options were there. And then you hit that deal with Evander, and you had the super team again. Everybody was fearing, and Jared Curse wiped you out. Did the injuries just kind of make you feel like it's just like you have like let's just fast forward 2021, you still would have been one of the favorites. Did it mentally wear you down a little bit, thinking like, just it's not meant to be, just screw it, I'm gonna get some younger players and prepare for years and years instead of trying to be a championship contender for maybe 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing about it. I certainly think I could have still had a shot at it if I was healthy next year with McCaffrey, but I think this was a good opportunity to set myself up for prolonged future success rather than a 2 to 3 year window. TD could be a wide receiver 1 for 8 years. Mark Andrews will probably be a top 3 tight end for years here. These picks could be foundational pieces for my team going forward, or whatever they turn into via that trade. So yeah, I think the the possibility of winning next year was not enough for me to not jump the opportunity to make myself better for years to come. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. Where you were at with that team, while it was set up for immediate success, you were handcuffed not having any picks going forward. I think you didn't have any picks even in 2023, I want to say.
Yeah, it was going to be 2023 before I had anything substantial in the draft.
Yeah, so you were pretty much handcuffed. I think you got a lot of value back in this trade, even though losing CMC hurts.
Yeah,
I will say, I think you messed up trading for CMC in the first place.
Oh, I agree. I think about that a lot. Yeah, I took a gamble and it didn't work out, unfortunately. I mean, Kamara's been fantastic.
I tried planting that seed once you got in the league too. I kept saying Kamara's not top 5. I wanted Kamara really bad, and I wanted to move from CMC.
And I mean, I believed in Kamara the whole time. At that point, I still liked Odell, but I kind of saw. I had a feeling where the Browns were going scheming wise, heavy run, and I just the CMC it became so like it was just tantalizing the thought of having him coupled with Saquon and Michael Thomas. I pulled the trigger and it didn't work out.
Right. I mean, had he had the same season, you were getting a wide receiver 1. I mean, a running back 1 and a wide receiver 2 out of him.
I mean,
so you weren't.
That's the championship team.
Right.
That's the whole thing. I said to myself,
exactly.
CMC is even not 100% of what he was, but maybe 80% of what he was. I'm probably going to win. That's just too many points to overcome for other teams. But,
exactly.
I mean, as soon as Saquon went down,
that threw a wrench in everything.
Johnny, what do you think?
Yeah, for me, the full picture of Alex's team, my opinion, I probably would have ran him back just because, although CMC, he's only 23 years old. And even though, like, you lost CMC, Mike Davis literally gave you 95% of production of what CMC gives you. Like, if we want to go by stats.
He did.
So, and another thing is, like, okay, I see Mark Andrews, but Hunter Henry is, like, he's solid. Like, you get a couple of years age difference. But I feel like you don't actually need to trade Hunter Henry for Mark Andrews just to upgrade him. Like, when you trading someone like CMC, I don't like to do the 1-for-1.
Let me jump in on that for a second.
Yeah.
Because I think I understand your thinking, Alex. Hunter Henry is on a 1-year deal. You don't know what's going to happen to him next year. You don't know where he's going to go, and he's super injury prone. Getting Mark Andrews, top 3 tight end, Lamar Jackson's favorite target. I think that's where you were looking at with it. I don't know, but is that what you were thinking?
I would say a little bit, but that wasn't the deciding factor. I am aware of the franchise tag, and I mean, like that Austin Hooper thought starts to creep in a little bit. He's a talented player, but is he going to get put in a situation where
Walter's first pick was what your real prize was, besides CD. Walter's first pick was what you wanted.
So for me, the Mark Andrews Hunter Henry situation was more about let me upgrade as opposed to I'm targeting Mark Andrews. I just think Mark Andrews is a better fantasy player, and I think he's a more stable player at this point. But yeah, I mean, he's really the third.
Yeah.
I look at CD, the pick, and then Mark Andrews.
So pretty much it all came down to, for me, what I look at, it all came down to preference. Because honestly, I think it's fair to be honest. Like, I get it, CMC, but I think CD is definitely, like, my opinion, he's top 12 dynasty asset going forward. Mark Andrews, top 3 tight end going forward. And then you get that's probably like a top 3 pick no matter what happens. So although top 3 pick, you can put whatever rookie you want to pick there. We know how picks get moved. It could turn into anything. So like at the end of the day, yeah, I believe it was a fair deal. just me personally, I would have ran it back, or I would have did a little things different. Because me looking at this, I feel like okay, Ozzy came to you. I probably wouldn't have gave Hunter Henry. I probably would have got Mark Andrews, or just waited a little bit because that same deal going to be there next week.
Sure.
Like I never think like okay, somebody came to me with this deal, or he's gonna change his mind for CMC the next week. It won't happen. But
No,
other than that,
definitely.
I can't really bash the decision. It just it's all of a preference. But I also think that you shouldn't be 1 foot in or 1 foot out. That's how we always kill ourselves.
So
I think he.
no,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was getting ready to transition. Go ahead, finish up your thought.
Personally, I think you did a great job with the trade. I think I said that already. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think you won this trade, and I think you got a lot, so much value. And those 2 first in that second, like I mean not the second, but the 22 first. If that Jared Curse transfers to Aussie, that could end up being a top 6 pick. Like that could make that an even better trade. We don't know. I think you did do a good job though. If you're gonna move on for him, you got the fucking value. That's for sure.
And the next time, just keep Mike Davis. It ain't no point in throwing him in.
All right.
All right.
So
Yeah.
our next segment, we kind of did something similar. We're doing it. Our most valued player, not valuable. So the way we're working this is each of us picking a player for a team, and then it means we think that they are providing like doesn't mean they produce the most points for the team, but at this point they're coming in clutch. They're providing something. Maybe you got them off the waiver wire and now they're a starter. Maybe you got them as a throw-in and they're your best player. So who is helping their team the most? Who has proven that? And I'll start mine off. And I've been called by a certain member of our league a Tico hater. And my pick actually goes for Kareem Hunt. I can't recall what he exactly. I believe he got him in a trade. Can't recall
Yeah,
exactly
it
what he
was no
got.
throw in though.
What now?
I said at the time it didn't seem like a throw in.
No, at the
I
time it didn't.
remember.
No, he definitely paid for him, but now it looks like Kareem Hunt's going to be a top 12 back until Chubb's back, and if Kareem Hunt does enough, they might say screw it and stick with him because he's already paid.
They won't do that.
But it's a possibility.
It's possible. Yeah.
So right now, I got to say Kareem Hunt is he's saving Tico's bacon. Not saving him. He's 5-0, so obviously he's doing well. But I think
he's difference maker. Yeah, I agree.
He is going to help carry Tico's team to the playoffs, especially with bye weeks, as we know this is mortal enemy with his lack of depth.
Kryptonite.
But Kareem Hunt, man, it's making Tico look real smart right now. All right, so Shawnee, who you got?
Well, for me, I'm gonna go to Rhodes because we see all his running backs didn't plan out how he thought. You know, he had a love for Fournette. That's not really working out. He's been injury prone pretty much his whole career, besides last year. And once again, he's moved to a good situation, had one big game, and he's already missing out. You know, he believed heavily in Drake, so did I. It's not really working out, but he invested so much in the Jaguars backfield that he got James Robinson, which is a top 10 running back right now. So that's helping his team big time with all the injuries to his running backs.
Yeah, I really like that one actually. That's like when you put it in that framework of how he had 2 possible RB1s, like possible. I don't think they would both would have been, but 2
Right.
at least RB2s, and they are both been just sucking.
Yeah, terrible.
All right, Alex, what about you, bud?
Give me a minute because I was going to James Robinson.
Yeah, me too.
Guys, this is why we talk about this stuff pre-show.
Yeah, but we didn't really talk about that.
All right.
No, one that I might pivot on this as I look deeper into it, but man, I'm looking at Antonio Gibson on Evander's team. I mean, it's not RB1 at this point, but it's certainly very valuable flex. It's filling on bye week, and the snap count is more than enough to think that it's going to continue. Targets are coming in. double-digit carries 3 of the last 4 weeks. I mean, that, not necessarily superstar status, but that's something that helps win a league.
Yeah, like
Well, it's
that.
targets. The targets have gone up in the receiving game.
Yep.
For sure. That's a good one.
All right, Vander.
Let me say one more thing on Antonio,
Go
though.
for it.
Man, what a nice thing for Vander that Antonio Gibson played in the NFC East with the defense he's going to do. That for me, that adds some value as to the production he's going to get going forward. I mean, he's got a giant talent, giant.
Oh, now. Say that.
Well, and here's the scary part. Gibson, from most championship teams, I could see Gibson being the third back. He is EGAS fourth back.
It was my fifth.
So I mean, it's a very nice luxury to have.
Vander down the stretch. That's a scary sight. DK, Hopkins, Sanders coming on. Kamara's number 1.
There's a reason Vander's got the most points in the league.
For sure.
All right, Vander.
This is a perfect segue into mine. Mine is actually Chris Carson. The entire reason that I gave him up was because I saw Antonio Gibson coming on late in the year. I gave him up. I forget what running or a linebacker, only a linebacker. So Rhodes ended up giving up absolutely nothing and getting a top 5 back right now.
Okay. He's on a bye.
The infamous,
I had to track him down.
infamous Devin Bush?
Yeah, Devin Bush.
Infamous.
straight up.
That's it again.
Like he got a straight win in that trade. No one wanted him. I was gonna hold on to him. It's like, nah, I could use the linebacker help. I'm gonna just go ahead and move on from him. I don't need him. Rhodes won.
All right. So now we're gonna move into our weekly segment of picking games. So going down the list here, starting with my game. Is my game always first? Or is it just
Yeah.
It's always first for you.
Okay,
If you sign in, yeah.
All right. Well, it's my game first, and then it goes to Beers, Rhodes, Shawnee, Osmo, Marin. So up first, me versus Tico. Our matchup of the week is going to be Egas and Marin. So at that point, we'll break down the sub squads. But for now, I'm just breaking down the teams. I'm picking myself. This is the week. I'm just picking because it has to happen. Tico has a ton of players on buys. He's got players who might not even play. He's having to start Chris Herndon, who's been a total bust. If I don't beat him this week, I don't deserve to say shit the rest of the season. So I'm picking me. Shawnee, who you got?
Yeah, I think this is the week that you might, steal that win that you need for late in the season because as of right now, it looks like DJ Chark, he's going to be out. We know the whole Melvin Gordon situation. He might just be punished by the team and not play. Chris Herndon, no hope for him. And yeah, I feel like you're going to win this matchup when I look at the rest, how it all plays out. But it still should be fairly close. I'm not going to count him out because, he's 5-0. Can't say too much about it.
Mm-hmm. All right, Alex, who you got?
Oh man. Gosh, I think I'm gonna go Tico. Yeah. I'm gonna say that slightly based on. I'm not really comfortable projecting what Clyde's role is going to look like this week and what that's going to mean for your points wise.
One thing about that, Bell cannot play this game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, COVID protocol.
He can't play this game.
Oh, I did not know that.
Or transfer, some shit like that.
Yeah, 6 days.
COVID related?
Yeah, he has to isolate or some shit.
Yeah.
Well, that changes things for me.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I think I'm going to go with Wood then. Yeah.
You think he's going to be a squeaker?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I mean, I
mean,
think
yeah,
it's
anything can happen.
a
Like,
type matchup.
Vander, who you got?
So I don't think this is going to be that close of a game. I think it could be in a perfect scenario, but this is not a perfect scenario. I'm going Wood and Tico. David Johnson's playing Tennessee. That's going to suck. You got Chris Herndon. He's a no-show every single week. I don't care that he's playing Miami. Melvin Gordon probably isn't playing. Same thing with DJ Chark. And you have Darius fucking Slayton Wood, who's going the fuck off and playing Washington this week. They're going to be down and passing all game. I think you win this one.
Cole,
Yeah,
Cole
Slayton.
Beasley has been pretty low-key consistent also.
All right, moving on to our next game, we've got Beers and Alex, and we all counted out the Beers at the beginning of this season, and he is 2-3, and he's beating me in points at the moment. It's so strange. It's that middle rebuild thing that we talked about. He's gonna be 6-6. I'm calling it out. He's gonna be 6-6, 7-6, 6-7, whatever it's gonna be.
I was going to say you can't go 6-6.
All right, well, you know what I meant. He's gonna be one game below or above 500, and I think even with the trades, I still think Alex wins. I think Alex just gets enough points here. I love CD Lamb. And I love your receiver. You got Ridley. I think he can have another big game. I think the change in coaching, we'll see some more. Maybe the offense even loosen up even more because their defense can't stop anybody anyway, so they're going to have to pass. I just see it happening, and I don't think Devontae Freeman gets 12 points. He's stuck in a butt. And he's got a lot of players who I just don't see being consistent, even though they've done it. We'll see. I just have a gut feeling for Alex this week. So, Shani, who you got?
I'm gonna not definitely. I'm gonna give it to Alex because what I see is basically on the Bears side, that last flex spot, Rashad Perriman, he hasn't played a game this season, I don't believe, since week 1. And he has nobody to fill in for that spot. So he could virtually take a 0 there. And I do like that he had Alexander Madison. That was a big help for him. But I think Alex should sneak out just like all across the board. Alex's team is just solid, and I think he'll just get the big win that he needs. Keep it going.
All right, saving Alex for last. Vander, who you got?
I think this is going to be a close game, and usually what I do when I think it's a close game, I jump straight to IDP. However, I'm not doing that, and I'm looking right at Alexander Madison. I'm going with the Beers.
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, Alex, who are you picking in your own game?
I'm going with the B. I mean, well, here's the issue. I'm starting Adrian Peterson and Damian right back right now.
I did it.
Could they?
It can work.
Yeah, but I'm not comfortable. I'm especially not comfortable saying Damian Harris can get 8.5 points. He might get 20, or he might get 3 carries. That's just kind of how it goes. So that's issue number 1 for me. I mean, not issue number 1, but I'm also starting Kyle Allen. Yeah, he's playing the Giants, and there's some opportunity there, but Kyle Allen, I don't feel great about it.
Yeah, you don't even know if he's playing the full game.
Right. So, I've got Allen, Peterson, Harris that I just don't feel good about. And if there's you said, I think Allen or Madison being there, especially against the Falcons, is a pretty big deal. So I would be at this point, but basically, what I have expected to happen all season, the exact opposite happened every week. So
Alex is trying to play that reverse psychology. Put the bad juju on the Bears. All right, so we got a 2-2 tie there. Moving on, we have Rhodes versus Simply. Pretty simple for me because Simply is pretty much playing for next year. He's got some players. He's doing okay. You know, Claypool showed up last week. Preston Williams showed up last week. Finally, um, but Rhodes is built for the playoffs. Rhodes has a better overall team. Um, I just think it's too much for Simply to overcome. I think he's still playing for next year. So Rhodes. Evander, what do you got?
I'm going Rhodes. I think Lindsey has a big game. I don't think Melvin Gordon plays, so that helps him. And Simply's just not built to win. So there's that.
Alex?
Yeah, I'm going Rhodes. I mean, as you said, he's simply playing for next year. Essentially outmatched at every spot. So.
All right, Shawnee.
I'm actually gonna go Simply because
Go ahead, I want to hear this.
yeah, like Ryan Fitzpatrick, every week, consistent, top 10 quarterback right now in fantasy. That's his floor. And then
Not even at my floor.
he's not even on his floor yet. But David Montgomery, he got a plus matchup against Carolina. They can't stop anyone. And then you see that DeAndre Swift, you never know. The last couple of games, he's pretty much every week had a chance at a receiving touchdown. They're coming off a bye. Maybe they shock everybody, actually give him a full workload. You never know how the game's going because he could easily outscore Philip Lindsay. And then you got Robert Woods, consistent, solid. Jameson Crowder, every week, solid, top 20 floor. And then, Chase Claypool, I got him outscoring Juju, Preston Williams, Visca. That's a battle. So looking at it, I don't think it's just, Rhodes win. I think Simply really has a chance in this one.
All right. Well, moving on to the game that nobody wants to win. We have the Bum Squad at 0-5 versus the Walters at 0-5. Somebody will come away with a win in this game and no longer be defeated. Evander, who do you got in this game?
I want to say Oliver's going to win this game, but I don't think I can make myself say it. I'm going to go with Shawnee. Oh, yeah, definitely Shawnee. Actually, looking at definitely Shawnee. Fulham's going off this week. Shawnee's going to win.
All right. What about you, Alex? You pick your brother, or you go with Shawnee?
I'm going to go Shawnee. I think Deontay being out for Oliver is a pretty big deal. Jordan Howard's pretty much a zero at this point. So I just don't see a lot of avenues for points from Oliver except from Lamar, Robbie, maybe Ayuk, maybe Cook, but I think there's a lot of 0 to 5s in there right now.
I think you need to text your brother after this and tell him, hey, you need to update your lineup. Fant's coming back. He's gonna make more points than Thomas, so that'll be an upgrade. And then he does have, if you go down, he does have Reynolds who can put in for Deontay. Yeah, he won't do as well as Deontay, but he'll get you some point, or even Ford from Miami. So he's got, if you do that, the estimated point total is going to be within 10 points. And whenever you get a 10-point gap, usually the game ends up being pretty close. Cooks finally went off last week after Bob is gone. Who knows if that's related? I think I could see Oliver pulling off the upset. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Oliver. I can see it happening. Because all Howard needs is one touchdown carry. Now he hasn't been getting them, but he has gotten it once or twice where he's got 4 carries and 1 touchdown as well.
Fuck that! I'm playing Gus Edwards this week. This is the one week I'd put him in.
Oh, who's he got? Against Philly? Yeah, they probably will be ahead for a good amount of time. That's a good point. All right, Shawnee, what are you picking in this?
I'm picking myself, and I'm going to smoke him. It's not even going to be close. That's enough. That's all I got to say.
All right. On to our almost game of the week. Ozzy versus Bankhead. These are probably the 2 favorites for the championship right now.
explain why it's not game of the week, so Ozzy doesn't fucking piss himself.
So Ozzy, when we were discussing which one between the two, we were thinking you two are both making the playoffs. There's no doubt about that. Seeding, yeah, we can figure that out later. Who's going to be the number one seed? But when we were looking at it, it's like Marin and Vander right now are both sitting 3 and 2. And while we both, I think everybody in this thinks that Vander will make it, Marin was one of those bubble teams. So her winning or losing this game has more of an impact on the overall top 6. That was our thinking in picking a game of the week.
Exactly.
So
Rose is 6 and 5 right now.
I mean, this is gonna be, this is just gonna be the championship game preview. As of right now, Ozzy does not have Christian McCaffrey because he's not there. I know Mike Davis is getting 90%, but he's going up against a tough Chicago defense. Chris Godwin is coming back from concussion protocol and injuries. Tom Brady's not the same. I'm leaning towards going Bankhead. Mostert came back and took over control of that offense, and I just like what he has. If Hayden Hurst can just do okay and not put up a total goose egg or just not even be present, I think Bankhead wins the game. Doesn't kill Ozzy, but I think he wins comfortably. If he had McCaffrey, I would be probably leaning towards it because I think McCaffrey is just always going to put up 30 points consistently, whereas Mike Davis, I think he's a product of the system right now, obviously, and he's like a 60% version of McCaffrey, even though he has been putting up statistically 80 to 90%. Who you got in this one, Vander?
This is gonna be a close game. It's gonna be a very good game. I think I'm gonna go Bankhead this week, and a lot of that has to do with I think that Green Bay gets upset this week. Doesn't really have too much bearing on fantasy, but I think it's gonna be a type of game where Aaron Rodgers just doesn't go off like he normally does, and I think that's why they lose. But I mean, that's a personal opinion. Up and down the rosters. Yeah, I know. Up and down the rosters, though, it's pretty interesting. They each have stacked rosters. Pound for pound, it's gonna be close. But I do give this one to. I'm gonna give this one a Bankhead. Just a feeling.
All right, Shawnee, who you got?
Yeah, looking at it, I'm also gonna go with Bankhead because going position by position, they both have some strong suits. But what I like to see is at that flex spot, Bankhead got Aaron Jones coming back off the bye, and I think this is the week Amari Cooper. He might see a slight dip in production. I know it should be
He
a
saw a slight
fast-paced
dip
game.
last week. Last week he didn't have any points to take.
Yeah, he didn't do fucking shit.
But
fucking dickbag.
That's because I told you James Bradbury he been strapping up. But hey, we're gonna leave that out of it. So yeah, that's where I see. Miles Gaskins. He's not like a household name or anything. But playing against the Jets, Dalton Schultz. I think he takes a hit. I don't see Andy Dalton supporting all them pass catches like Dak was. Not saying that it's gonna be funneled towards more Zeke, CD, and I actually think Michael Gallup gets a bump instead of Schultz and Amari Cooper. But
I like that take.
And then Devontae Adams, he had a lot of time to heal up, and Rodgers is gonna pepper him with targets.
All right, Alex, how do you see this one playing out?
I'm going Bank.
Ooh.
I won't go too in depth on it, but pretty much what it comes down to for me is I just like the matchups that his players have this week better than Oz's. So that's what it is for me.
Yeah, so
I'm sure Ozzy will love it if he somehow wins this game. It'll definitely be brought up.
I mean, yeah, but it's not.
Who cares?
Saying it's a landslide.
I would care about it.
Yeah.
And our matchup of the week. So remember, gentlemen, we're gonna do this. Play a position group by position group and go from there. So,
All right.
you're gonna get a chance to talk about each one. Let's not go on forever about each group, but that way we can fit it all in. So first group, quarterback. Shawnee, why don't you start us off? Who's got the advantage?
For me, I definitely think Vanna has the advantage because we know high scoring game, Monday Night Football. Kyler and the Cardinals, they like to play fast. They like to get in a lot of plays. I don't see Cam Newton have to do too much in the Denver matchup. You know, Patriots play good defense, run the ball. I think it's going to be a low point total. So I think I'll give the advantage to Kyler Murray.
All right, Alex, who you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Kyler just playing the Cowboys. I don't really know what against Denver's defense, but regardless, I think I probably expect Kyler to outscore that 34.21 projection by a fair margin. Kyler for me.
I'm going with Kyler Vander. I'm sure you believe in your own player.
Yes. King Kai.
All right, so there we go. That one was pretty easy. This time though, maybe a little bit harder. We've got two stud running backs and then two meh. So and we're not counting flex this week. So we're gonna leave flex to its own thing. So just these two running backs that are starting. Who's got the advantage? And this time we'll start with Alex.
We're doing Zeke and Sanders.
I'm sorry, what? You broke up a little bit.
Are we just doing Elliott and Sanders here? Or are we doing
Elliott
the
and
RB3?
Sanders, Elliott and Jones versus Sanders and Gibson.
Okay. I'm gonna go Elliott and Jones, just because I'm not overly optimistic about what Sanders' touch total is going to be against Baltimore. I expect him to be playing from behind most of the game. I expect some stacked boxes early on, and I mean that it's not Sanders' fault. I just don't think this is a good week for him production-wise. I think Antonio Gibson's going to outperform that 14.3, but I expect maybe a game of the season type week from Ezekiel in the first game without Dak. So that's probably what decides it for me is this matchup.
All right. Who do you got here? Well, we always gonna save Evander. I'm always gonna save you for last, just so you know. Shawnee, who you got?
All right, for me, I do agree. I think Zeke will have a big week. Just transitioning from a quarterback. I think they want to get off to a good groove, run the ball. But I'm actually going to go with Vander's side because although I see the Eagles playing Baltimore, they pretty much have no receivers. I think they got to funnel all the targets to, Zach Ertz, keep it close, short passes to the running back. Miles Sanders has been getting a big workload, and I do think, and it should be a big week for Gibson. Like he should finally really have that full breakout game playing against the Giants. They just switched quarterbacks. I think they want to pass the ball short. They only have two weapons, him and Terry. So I think that overall, that outscores Ronald Jones and Zeke put together.
Yeah, I do. I think I'm on board, so I'm not going to repeat everything. I think Elliott gets increased points. I think he overshoots 22 because they rely heavily on him. I think Jones is an illusion in the desert. I think last week or the week before it was not the real Jones. Every other week that we've seen Jones is what he really is. I think Gibson's going against a soft defense, so chance to get points is now. So I'm going to go the combined efforts of Sanders and Gibson winning. Vander, who do you got?
I'm going to go with myself. I think Zeke obviously has a big week. Everyone already touched on that. I think Rojo is going to go back to being Rojo. And the fuck is the other running back? What's his name?
Elliott?
Nah, what's the other?
Oh, Keyshawn Vaughn?
No, Fournette.
Oh,
I think Fournette's actually going to play this week. That's going to cut in more to Rojo. And Sanders, I don't think he's going to have as bad of a game as he probably should have. We just watched Gibson 2 weeks ago go off for 30 against the same defense, and a lot of that has to do with big plays. And Sanders a big play guy, so I'm gonna go with me.
All right. Moving on to our next group, we have our two wide receivers here. Stephen Diggs and A.J. Brown versus Beckham and Hopkins. I'll go first because as I've been looking at this, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm going with Diggs and Brown on Marin's team. I just think going against Houston can't do much there. I know this last week they had a defensive battle, but I have no respect for that team right now. So I think that AJ Brown, they're going to want to show him off. They haven't been able to use him all year. I think he goes off. Diggs with KC, they're going to force the ball to him like normal, and Hopkins will get his. The main reason is Beckham against Pittsburgh's tough defense. They're going to a more run game style, as Alex alluded to earlier. Unless Beckham pulls in like 2 touchdowns, I don't see him even getting to the 18 points. I think he'll be in the low teens. So for that reason, I'm going with Marin. Alex, what do you got?
I'm struggling on this one. I think I agree with you that I don't feel great about Odell this week against the Steelers. I'm gonna go Diggs and Brown just because I'm not comfortable with Odell this week.
All right, Shani.
So for me, it's definitely this is a great like matchup receiver for receiver. I think Diggs go off, but I think Hopkins go off. Dallas can't stop anyone. AJ Brown, he's efficient, but the Titans, that's all their passing game is efficiency. So if he's not efficient, I don't know if he blows up. And I actually like Odell's matchup because Pittsburgh, we know, tough defense, but they actually a pass funnel defense. I watched it first week on, Darius Slayton beat them over the top a couple of times for the big play because they got to load the box. They only got Kareem Hunt now. Everybody know what the game plan is. So I think Beckham is going to have to, the Browns are going to have to take shots if they really want to win a game. And I think Beckham, he's known take a slant to the house any play. So I'm actually going to give it to Vander.
All right, and Vander, do you tie it up or do you give it to Marin?
No, I give this one to Marin. I think Hopkins has a huge week, but I also think Diggs has a huge week. I don't really think
definitely.
Brown or Beckham has a big week, but I'm gonna go with Diggs and Brown.
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
definitely
Marin
tough.
takes the wide receivers. All right, tight ends should be relatively quick. We got Kelsey and Hooper, and Hooper has started to come big, but she has Kelsey. I mean, I'm going first. Kelsey it's him and Kittle, and then everybody, even Andrews is just slightly below them. So, Marin for me. Shawnee.
Yeah, it's definitely Marin for me. Austin Hooper just hasn't shown me enough this year, period, no matter what. So it's definitely Kelsey and Kittle.
Alex.
It's Marin, Kelsey, and Kittle.
Evander, want to try and make an argument here?
It's Kelsey.
All right, Marin takes tight end.
It's just
All
funny because y'all have the same exact break, like tight end, wide receiver.
Not to get off topic, but just real quick, curious. What do you guys think Tanyan does this week?
Well, we haven't gotten into flex,
Yeah, we're
so
getting there
that
right
one
now.
was just Hooper and Kelsey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we're
I
getting
got
to our flexes. So this is Kittle and Gallup versus Tanya and Kirk. And I don't care what Tanya did last week. It's still Kittle, and I think Kirk is trash. I know you disagree with me. I think it's trash. So I will take the Kittle and Gallup matchup here. Gallup had 2 amazing catches from Andy Dalton last week. They already showed that they do have chemistry. So I like that side, and I'm going to go Marin. Who you got, Shawnee?
Yeah, I still got Marin. I just don't see Tanya getting all those targets from last week with Devontae Adams coming back, and you already know how good Aaron Jones is playing, and you still got MVS coming, taking a couple deep shots. So yeah, for me it's Kittle, Michael Gallup.
All right, Alex.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Kittle and Gallup as well. Great point about the target share with Devontae Adams coming back. I think it's very well within the realm of possibility that Kirk has a really strong game. But I think combined, Kittle and Gallup is going to be too much.
All right, Evander. How confident
Just
are
gonna
you,
throw
Bucks?
this in here real quick. Astros just beat the fucking Rays. Fuck you guys. Game 7. But I'm going with Kittle Gallup. It's fucking Kittle. Like, how do you go against that? I think I have a fair shot of keeping that close. I think Tanyan and Kirk could have good games. I think Kirk's gonna actually have a big game with all the eyes on Devontae or DeAndre Hopkins. I think Kirk's gonna actually put up decent numbers this week. But I think Gallup's gonna have a big game too. So Kittle Gallup.
All right. And lastly, IDP we do as a whole. Alex, you want to start us off there? What do you think? Who wins IDP?
Sorry, I'm
You
trying
want me?
to
You can go here, Shani. You ready?
Yeah. I'm actually gonna give it to Mary. She's pretty savvy when it comes to IDP. Can't lie. She's always tinkering with it every week. Small pickups, no big names, but she sees, she must be looking at the snaps here, how they playing. She always just have solid tacklers across the board. So I'm definitely gonna go with her.
All right. I'll go next. You know, I really like what Evander did with his defense. Bates, I don't know why the ranking system for IDP is jacked up sometimes. Bates has been like one of the most consistent high scoring safeties.
Oh yeah,
Um,
always.
he's got Bush, who was just a monster in terms of IDP fantasy and in real life, honestly.
Minka Fitzpatrick is not playing this week. I should tell you that.
That is a good point. So
It's going to be
Hilton.
it's
But
going to
she
be
has him.
Humphreys. It's going to be Humphreys. I'm playing Humphreys this week.
really,
No,
I'm
I'm
actually going
saying
for
you see
Carl.
it on her side. She got the backup for me.
No, I'm telling you guys
Yeah,
as you're looking
I
at
know. I know what you're
my
saying.
IDP.
I know what you're telling me. I'm just saying that's what I would go with. But anyways,
Yeah.
her linebackers just Goodson to me has been he's done okay, but I don't know if that's going to continue. And then Thomas, oh wow, I'm overlooking Joe Thomas. I'll admit that.
Exactly. I told you
I'm
she's
overlooking
savvy.
Joe Thomas. I'm gonna stick with my gut though. I just think Evander's IDP is solid, and I like what it is. So I'm going Evander. All right, Alex, who you got?
I am going to go with Evander. Just because I think these guys are going to have this quote unquote big plays. I'm kind of anticipating a Grady Jarrett stack or two. I'm anticipating Philip Rivers throwing an interception to Jesse Bates. That's what I'm just basing it on. I think his defense is going to produce a big player too this week, and that'll be the difference.
Okay,
Yeah.
Evander, who do you got?
So I'm gonna do this to push it to a tie because it's hard to go against Marin's IDP. Period. She probably, at least the years that I've been in this league, has consistently been the best up there with her and Tico probably for IDP. I'm not choosing myself over her for IDP. Period. Any single week, it's not happening. But I do think I have a good shot at getting her this week. I'm still gonna go with Marin.
All right, so as we tally it up, quarterback and running back both went to Evander. Then Marin came back with 3 straight groups with wide receiver, tight end, and flex. And the IDP was pushed to a tie. Time for our overall picks here after everything we've gone over. In basing it off the groups here, well, I think you have some great talent. You'll hang. I think Marin can squeak out a win this week. For me, I think it comes down to. I think it really does come down to Rojo. Now, you won the running back category. If Rojo does solid and puts up the 15 points, I think Marin wins. But if Rojo goes back to what he was, which was like 5 points, I think you win. I think it's going to be we're not going to know who wins until Monday night. So I'm going Marin. Shawnee, who you got?
Yeah, this is tough. I'm gonna go with Vander. I just think the value of running back is so much more, to overcome. So yeah, I'm not sure about Rojo, and I'm not even a Rojo hater. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna go with Vander. I think he has more firepower.
All right, Alex, who's your pick?
I'm gonna go with Evander. I think Kyler Murray having an absolute outburst is gonna be the difference.
All right, Evander.
Hey, I'm going with myself only because Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, I think, go the fuck off against that shitty ass Dallas defense. I think that's the difference maker.
All
But
right. Oh, go ahead, buddy.
I think it is going to be close. I think it's going to be a 260-point game.
I ain't gonna lie, this was a hard one to pick after really
Yes.
breaking it down.
I don't feel comfortable saying myself. Yeah, I'm going to go with myself, but I don't feel comfortable.
I feel fairly comfortable saying this is going to be a 10-point game.
Yeah, I think it could even be within that. I had a 2-point game with Tico not long ago. I don't know if that was this league or whatever
Yeah,
the
it
fuck.
was this
Maybe it was
last
even
week.
a 1-point game.
It was 1 point. Robert Tanya needed to
I
catch.
think it's another game like that. Shit, that wasn't even a fucking 1-point game. That was 0.6 of a goddamn point. Suck my ass.
Well, that's how we're going to end it, with him sucking his ass. All right, guys. We'll catch you later next time, and thanks for watching.
Adios.